Welcome back for another weekly episode of RMFantasy SXperts. I am Chase, here with my co-host Christian. Now, round 8, Tampa, it's in the books.
Plenty to talk about.
Lots to talk about, a little bit of Baywatch going on. But we are headed into round 9, which is going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. First race there in Atlanta. So I'm excited. It's going to be good.
Triple Crown.
But first, we got to talk about last week, so let's get into it. This is our race recap. So round 8's in the books. Tampa was a good one.
Yep.
Now, before we dive into our results, talk about who finished where last week, first, we just want to share with you some of our favorite moments for the race if you didn't catch everything. So for me, first one that stands out, Justin Hill. Just
Justin Hill. Everything Justin Hill.
Doing the quad section that nobody else except for one other rider was even attempting. Well, Tomac tried it once and just faced the last jump. But Hill, that was awesome. How about you?
Sending it through the sand, battling with Webb, and then Baggett trying to get Wiley in that rhythm section, landing in the net. Yeah, that was pretty wild. Pike losing it in the sand.
Yeah, he went surfing. He was like, you know what, I just don't feel like racing.
I mean, he got up and still looked like a caveman.
He's got to have some rashes in certain places.
Just picks up the bike and goes. And then just the battles, I mean, between Tomac and Muscan passing each other back and forth. And then Hill and Webb was a good one, too, to watch. So.
A lot of good battles. But for the race recap, for the results, so we had Tomac, the train is rolling. Muscan in second, Anderson, Webb, Tickle in fifth. And a wild card this week, Cole Martinez.
It caught us off guard. It caught everyone off guard. He was the lowest correct rider picked ever in Fantasy Supercross at
0.11%.
0.11% got him right, which is about 79 people out of 70,000. Well, and it makes sense. He was on a 250. He qualified 24th. Even those 79 people that picked him, are you super fans? Did you get a hot tip? I want to know why did you pick him there?
So a couple of real quick things too to mention is that Seeley, he will be out. So Seeley, we're wishing you luck, buddy. Get well. And also Chad Reed, the new Ironman of Supercross. Oh,
breaking the record.
Breaking the all-time record.
Also taking 22nd place, but we won't talk about that.
Okay. That's bike cut out. Anyway, so those are your race results. Now let's get into it because we're going to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, first race there. So this is our track trends.
All right, so heading into Atlanta, a couple things to know. Brand new stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'm sure we'll see a lot of red Georgia clay. The track map had a lot of 180 turns. Looked really jumpy.
Lots of jumps.
Lots of jumps, no sand.
Which I'm excited for.
And just some things to take away from last year. That was that race where Tomac had a horrible start and didn't look like he could catch Dungey in the lead. Almost reeled him in by the end, so he's got major speed there.
Okay.
And the whoops looked to break down, so maybe stay high up on him, Muscan, if you will.
The jumper, okay? Now also this week with our track trend, it's very important to know this is our second Triple Crown event. So this is 2 out of 3 that we'll have this year. What this means is there are no heat races, okay? It's just gonna have qualifying during the daytime. There will be an LCQ, but that starts before the night show, so you're not gonna see that.
On Race Day Live to catch that.
Yeah, you can watch on Race Day Live. But for the 3 main events, you're gonna have times of 8 minutes, 12 minutes, and 15, and it's a cumulative score. So they're gonna take the overall result. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth still get the same amount of points. It's just the combined score at the end of the night.
So you're picking overall results at the end of the night, not each
Not
main.
per race.
Yep.
But with that being said, okay, these Triple Crowns, as we've seen.
We have a bit of an advantage this time because we've already seen one.
We've seen one. We kind of see how they play out. But there are some interesting stats that are really going to help, I think, with the top 5 this week as far as average starts. Because that's important, and some, a couple other details that we'll go over. So let's get into it. This is our points battle. So for this week with the Triple Crown, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's going to be all about the start.
You favor the better starters.
The better starter. The hard part is, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, is that these 3 have been pretty consistent with their starts and also their finishes. So Anderson, we called the 1, took the blue pill. Okay. So he took 3rd at the first Triple Crown behind Tomac and Seeley, okay, but he hasn't qualified worse than 4th all year, and he has not finished outside the top 5 yet.
No, and Tomac's the clear favorite. We see the picks every week. Everyone's picking him to win, and I agree. But he's the fastest guy out there. The thing with these 2, and that's what kind of hurt or saved you last week, was these 2, if you had them right.
The only thing I would think of, too, okay, with your top 3, if you're trying to figure it out, is Tomac 2 out of the 3 rounds that he's qualified fastest has gone on to win the main event. So if Tomac's not hovering around that top 3 spot for qualifying, maybe it might mean he's not jumping the track all that well. So I would definitely, for this round, I look at qualifying times and see really who's
too
feeling
far
it.
back there, yeah.
So yeah, if Tomac's not qualifying good, it might be a sign, but his starts have just been freaking good.
Yeah.
And Muscan,
3 second-place finishes in a row.
And a 4th before that.
And he led laps last week. I mean, he's up there. The only time he's missed the top 5, though, this year was the Triple Crown round, which he was still coming back from an injury. So
yeah, and he hasn't started worse than 4th in the last 4 rounds.
No, so he's a strong starter, and he had a faster average lap time than Anderson last week, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of put him ahead.
Okay. So for this week, that's kind of the advice we would give is watch qualifying, see who's kind of feeling it out for the track that day. And also just keep in mind with Anderson, he's got a really comfortable points lead. So if, the question I have is will he push it to try and win or beat these 2 if he's already sitting there back in 3rd, maybe 4th place?
Yeah, well, they're talking about him having a 65-point lead over Tomac, but Tomac's only 26 points back from second
place
overall, so he still has a lot to go for.
Yeah, I agree. So those are your top 3, but now let's get into it because we got 2 more positions to talk about, and this is what we call our weekly spoilers. All right, so for this week's weekly spoilers, okay, we've got 6 riders on the table, but 2 of these guys are liars. They are not. Okay.
I mean, they looks like fool's gold, maybe.
Well, here we go. So Brayton, we know he got in the top 5 last Triple Crown, and he had good starts there. But if you look from Anaheim 2 until last week, average start is 10.4. He is not.
You're throwing him out, fam.
He's out. Yeah. Get him out of there.
Another one, Tickle. I know he's been in the top 5 last 2 out of 3 rounds, but all year except for last week, he's had horrible starts.
Horrible starts. His average start is well over
like
10.
14 something. So with him,
if it's a full 20-minute main, he comes up. But shorter races, don't count him in there.
I'm throwing him out, fam.
Get out of here.
Then let's get to a lot of contenders like Seeley. All those guys are out. It's opening the door for more spoilers. Let's hear them.
First up, I have Justin Hill. I have him in my top 5 this week.
For Hill's sake, leave him on the 450.
Him in there. Come on.
That's where he needs to be.
Didn't a whole shot, but won his heat race. His confidence is there. He likes a 450. I think he's a safe bet if he can have good starts.
I think he had magic in his hands last week. He was flying. So.
Yes, sir. Now, Blake Baggett. He is my next one. So now Baggett, his average finish is 6.33. His starts are 5.67. He's had some bad luck, but I think Baggett is another guy where if he's having a good night with starts, which other than a few rounds, he's had consistent top 5 starts, I'd put Baggett in your top 5 too.
He just want to redeem himself after that Ned incident.
Spider-Man. Yeah. Okay, what do you got?
I like Cooper Webb. I mean, what's crazy to me is since the 2nd round, he's gotten better finishes every round except for his little incident with Roxon, where he finally cracked the top 5 last week. So I like a Webb. Weston Pike, I'm also bringing him back. I know he hasn't made the top 5 since round 3, but it's shorter races. He made the top 5 in the Triple Crown. He's still getting consistently good starts.
He gets top 5 starts, but just can't finish there. But with the shorter races, yeah, you're right. He
started 5th last week.
He could have a good night.
He started within the top 5 in 4 out of the last 5 rounds. So he's not easy to pass. It's going to be a shorter race.
Yeah.
He gets good starts. I'm high up on Pike this week.
All right. Another rider that I was kind of thinking of while we were talking about this that we didn't have up here, but Dean Wilson, he has improved. He's gone 9.87, so if he gets good starts, he's another runner up there. So
in the last 3 weeks, he's went 9.87. He just keeps getting better and better too. So
yeah, and also for the trivia, Dean Wilson was the answer for last week.
Yeah, he's got a better qualifying and finished result since like round 2 or something.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So now next up, it's going to be a toughie because this week's wild card is what?
7th
place. That's a toughie because that's a very good rider. So let's get into it. This is our wild card watch.
Okay, wild card this week, 7th place.
If you're wondering why he's laughing, Christian says, heading into whatever race we're going to every segment. So I challenged him not to say it.
Total brain fart.
Total brain fart.
Yeah. We'll move on. We got 7th place. It's a tough one, no doubt. A lot of opinions and a lot of riders that could take that place, in all honesty. So we crunched all the numbers, trademark, and these are the riders that statistically, we're looking at for 7th place mostly.
Okay.
So. But here's our riders that have taken, around 6th to 8th this year. Brayton's already done it 4 times. Wilson's already done it 2 times. Tickle's done it 3 times. Webb's done it 3 times. And
Pike has done it 3 times.
Pike's done it 3 times. So these are really you know, it's going to be around these guys, I'm thinking.
This is off of numbers. This is not our guesses, not our opinion. This is just based off of stats. So take it and run with it. 5 riders, lots of finishes between 6th and 8th place. So kind of comment below, though. What do you guys think is going to happen? Is one of these guys like a clear favorite for 7th?
Yeah, I'm leaning Brayton myself. I mean, 4 times in that range. And he's been having bad races. I'm thinking he's going to put it together this week.
I went with Tickle Me Elmo this week.
The tickler, if he can get a start, dude.
Yeah, I think so. There it is. That's wild card watch. But now, one of our favorite segments, Mr. Adam ENTICKNAP, 7 Deuce Deuce. So we're bringing him on, and he is going to talk about a big storyline this week. He's going to talk about Justin Hill. Mm-hmm. And then,
can he back it up?
Yeah, can he back it up? And then we're going to, he's going to give us what he thinks, besides Tomac, Muska, and Anderson, what he thinks are the next 2 guys that finish in the top 5. So let's get into it. This is Between Two Berms with Adam ENTICKNAP. All right, folks, so we have him on the phone, Adam ENTICKNAP, the 7 Deuce Deuce. I call him the People's Champ. What's up, Adam?
What up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So, thanks for joining us one more time this week.
Absolutely.
Now, we have 2 questions for you. Christian, he's going to ask the first one.
I got a question for you. With Justin Hill breaking out the way he did last week, is he safe to put in the top 5, maybe that 4th, 5th spot, or what do you think for Atlanta?
Can he back it up?
You know, it's funny that you say back it up because as harsh as it sounds right now, there's nothing to back up because Hill wasn't in the top 5. He made a rookie mistake. He was fast all night, and I think he definitely has some pizzazz, and I think he can get on the podium. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to put everything together. Coming off last weekend, all it was a mistake by Musquin. So not a mistake by Musquin, but a veteran move by Musquin in that corner. So I don't know if you see Hill doing big jumps out at Atlanta, if you see him clicking off a quad, or you hear about some big jump that Hill's doing, I would seriously consider putting him in the top 3. If there's nothing that's going to be a big separator, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off.
Interesting. And you got the Triple Crown, so he's got to get 3 consistent starts, which on 250s, he was not doing that. So we'll see.
Yeah, but with the 450, it's got a little more horsepower. He's been coming off that 250. I think that starts are not going to be an issue for Justin right now. I think the biggest thing is, can he navigate his way through these veterans? Because these guys are in a fight for the championship. This is the young gun coming up. And I'll tell you right now, you've seen from Marvin last week, they're not going to take anything from that little kid. So, he's got to figure out to maybe mature pretty quick. And if he can find some big jump where he can get that little James Stewart extra second from doing something big, I think if he gets those starts, he's going to be out front. And, too, if he gets a big jump like that and he has that extra time on everybody, he might be able to make up a little bit in the Triple Crown. So I would say if you see him doing a big jump or hear something about, some quad hills busting, don't be afraid to put him in the top 5.
All right. Now, Mike, okay, it's good info on Hill. I have him in my top 5 this weekend, so I hope he's busting out one of these quads.
Straight up.
It was definitely fun to watch.
Extra, right?
And looking at that track map, it looks pretty jumpy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
So now, Adam, my question is real quick, talking about your top 3 guys. So Tomac, Muska, and Anderson, those are your top 3 that probably going to have the podium spots for just about every fantasy player. But what about 4th and 5th? Give us 3 riders that you think are good candidates to fill that 4th and 5th slot, and give us a couple reasons why.
Okay, first you got Blake Baggett. He's been pretty consistent this year. He's got a bunch of speed. We're coming into Atlanta. I feel like I've always seen him kind of do good here. Another thing, he's fast. He's going to be in that top 5. He's still in that hunt. I would definitely consider Blake Baggett to put in your 4 or 5 spot, or even a podium spot, depending on where they qualify.
Okay.
My next guy is Webb. I would consider putting him 4th, 5th also, because of, you can't deny his improvement. He's been getting better and better every week. Yeah. I see that Webb aggression coming out. It's clear as day. If you're not seeing it, you're blind.
Right.
My last guy is, you cannot put out Justin Brayton. He hasn't been on a tear lately, but he's a veteran, and he knows how to get the job done. And at the last Triple Crown, he got a 4th overall, and you've seen good starts out of him every single moto. So look for Brayton to have a bounce back race and get those short motos in and take advantage of those things.
I like it.
Okay, well, hey, thank you for the information. You guys have heard it coming from Adam ENTICKNAP. Now cheer this guy on if you're going to be at the races. Go say what up, because he is the people's champ.
Oh, and make sure to join his group. Fun fact, we looked it up, and your group is the biggest group in RM Fantasy. So
the biggest group. So if you want to join Adam's group, it's called the 7 Deuce Deuce Crew. You guys can talk with Adam. You can see his picks every week. So Adam, good luck this weekend, man. Put it in the main and keep it on 2.
Yep.
Heck yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
I get so happy when I talk to that guy.
I know. I hope he gets in the main this week. So.
Well, there you go. That's Adam. Good information on Justin Hill. So if he's doing quads or maybe really good qualifying times, don't be afraid to throw him in there.
I like what you said. It is a jumpy track,
It is.
so there could be a lot of different lines.
He likes it. And you heard what he said about those other 3 riders that could possibly fill up 4th and 5th spots. So
I can't argue with him.
yeah. Well, you know what I'm not going to argue with? You know what time it is?
Time to lock him in.
Let's do it.
Okay, time to lock him down. Feeling pretty good. Just gonna break my slump this week.
I beat you 4 weeks in a row. I wish.
I know, I'm in a bad way.
That
I
never
need
happens.
help.
You
No, it
need
never
help.
happens. You're just creeping up on my score.
Okay.
So I'm going back to the Tomac train. It's just chugging along right now. Muscan, faster average lap times than Anderson last week. 2nd place. Anderson back in 3rd. For Hill's sake, keep him on the 450. Give the man a 4th place this week.
I heard you're liking his style, actually. Too.
I mean, I saw a picture of him from Track Walk last week from Cardi Photo. I'm digging it. I'm relating to that. I like it.
Kind of hillbilly status?
He's in my 5th. He's in my picks now just because of that alone. So
Okay.
then Chupacabra in 5th, and I'm not hating on Brayton. He's been finishing a lot worse than 7th lately, but I'm bringing him back to the wild card in 7th place.
He's got to have a good round sometime.
Yeah, Triple Crowns are his
All right,
thing.
your picks are respectable, but I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I wouldn't even call it a risk. Cooper Webb got 4th last weekend, whole shot. He's
So
killing
with
it.
Sealy out, you're on the
I'm on the
troop
Coop
now.
troop, yeah.
Okay.
With Sealy out, I'm on the Coop troop. I do not have Baggy in there. I've got Jason Anderson in 5th. And my wild card, going off of our stats that we gave this week, I see Tickle landing in that 7th position. That's what I got, dude.
I like it. He's going to give up a lot of points if that happens. So
Yeah. And now, those are our picks. Remember, guys, you can play with us, Team RMATV MC. Also, you can play with Adam's group, as we talked about earlier.
But you pulled stats on. The biggest group in RM Fantasy SX by far, 7 Deuce
The
Deuce
7
group.
Deuce Deuce crew.
So get in there and talk to people.
Absolutely. Now, we have a good trivia question for this week. Can I
Yep.
ask it? I haven't asked it yet.
Yeah, give it out.
It's Christian's question. I just want to ask it because it's
Throw it
such a
out
good
there,
one.
dude.
Okay. In the last 7 rounds, this rider has made every main, has not won a heat, and only taken 3 different positions in the main event in 7 rounds.
So he's only taken 3. He only finishes in 3 spots
In
the
7
last
rounds.
7 rounds.
But has not won a heat race.
It was pretty interesting when we saw it. So
Okay,
I like
there
it.
you
Let's
go.
See
That
who's
is our
paying
trivia.
attention and got that.
Comment below, tell us who. But we're also not going to reveal the answer till next week's episode, so don't get upset if we don't respond. But now we need to get into it. This is important. This is why you want to play RM Fantasy SX, because there are big prizes up for grabs. So this is a prize recap. All right, so for this week, this is why we play RM Fantasy SX. Good prizes. Pirelli MX32 tires for first place.
4
Second-
sets.
4 sets.
4 sets.
Oh my
Just got to
goodness.
throw that out there.
All right, a Cherubies, $425 spending spree. Bell Moto 9 with MIPS, woo, okay. And then we got Scotia Audio, Pro Honda, RevArc, dirt bike handling system. What else we got in there? EVS.
EVS, Works Connections, Scott Prospect Goggles, MotoGate, and of course $10 Rocky Mountain gift cards. 100 chances to win every week. Get in there and get one. I mean, why not?
Does not matter when you sign up, you can always win weekly prizes. So there it is. Now remember, guys, comment below, talk about your picks. We like to see those. Also, can Hill back it up?
Can Hill back it up?
And will Anderson back it off?
Will Anderson let everyone into the championship? We'll see.
We shall see. So make sure to leave your comments below. Remember, join us on RMFantasySX.com. Thank you so much for the comments. Oh, in June,
Cooper, super fan.
Super fan.
Yeah, we've been listening
I've listened to you, and that's why he's in my picks. I'm Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week.